Welcome back. This week we're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog number 1. Made back in 2020, right before the pandemic struck, and had a lot of technical difficulties trying to get made.
Meow?
Brother, what's that?
My expectations going into this were really low, but after seeing this movie, I really enjoyed it. Sonic 3 just came out, and I wanted to take a look back, and I want to talk about what makes this movie so good. People on the internet have talked a lot about this, and so I'm just going to talk about the stuff I really haven't seen. It's not much, but here we go. There's a lot of things going on in this movie, and off the bat, first thing, you get the Sega intro. It goes so unnaturally hard.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I didn't think I'd have to mention this, but yeah, it goes so hard. And honestly, from the beginning of just seeing Sonic, anything is better than what we had before. Everyone remembers the infamous CGI screw-up where the internet destroyed this movie.
Meow?
Kill it! Kill it with fire! Everyone flee!
So just looking at this looks amazing to compare to that monstrosity. This is James Marsden's first appearance in the series. I love James Marsden. He's a great actor, and he does a great job here. It's hard to try and act with a little CGI puppet all the time. Really sells Sonic the Hedgehog as a real person. He really carries this movie, and he's really funny.
Would you learn how to drive? Here, in this truck. It's happening as we speak.
As well, Jim Carrey really sells this movie. And Jim Carrey is super funny. He's been kind of hit and miss over the past couple of years. But this really reminded people that, hey, Jim Carrey can act.
I was not expecting that. But I was expecting not to expect something, so it doesn't count.
Ben Schwartz plays Sonic. I love him from Parks and Rec.
The worst! She's the worst in the world.
So I knew he was going to do a good Sonic, and he really does. He matches his voice, he's very energetic and quippy and funny. I literally could not imagine someone else as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Crazy? Me? No way, Doc. Friends of yours, deep down, you are still rather lonely?
And this movie is really funny.
I know, he's a little weird.
Weird?
No
He's
way.
a psychological tire fire.
Just in general, a lot of the jokes here are kind of hit or miss, but the ones that do hit are like, wow, this isn't a kid's movie.
Look what came out of my egg sack.
And some of these jokes, just long-running jokes, are just really funny.
There is one person in town.
And I know you're real!
No, I'm not!
It can be cheesy at times, but the other jokes make up for it.
Who, as everyone can see, is a very real creature, and not at all invented by me.
Even though this is a video game movie, it's more of a comedy, and you're not really supposed to take this movie seriously. It's supposed to be fun and lighthearted.
Reconnaissance!
They make a reference in this to Keanu Reeves,
Keanu! You are a national treasure.
When I find you.
and then, you know, he's now Shadow the Hedgehog. That's just like funny foreshadowing, right? Also, this movie, it goes hard on the advertisements.
Hey, what are those?
Apartments for rent I found on Zillow.
There's so many in this, just like car advertisements and drinks and just random stuff. And every movie has those. But this movie literally just has lines and jokes dedicated to advertisements. Like, it should probably chill out. I think it learned in the later movies it needed to chill out on them.
Olive Garden.
Have you tried their never-ending pasta bowl? It never ends.
I also love like the tiny details in this, like the music and the characters, the references to the original Sonic games and franchise. Him enjoying chili cheese dogs.
Oh, that's awful. What did you eat?
I think it's called a chili dog?
Like, most people don't understand that but the fans. Like, at the very end, he beats Robotnik by just hitting him a bunch of times. Like, exactly from the game. And it shows that the production team has a knowledge of how Sonic the Hedgehog really works. And they do little things like this throughout the movie. Does a great job of paying homage to the original franchise. Most video game movies are trash. But this one is like, people have put in work and effort into this, and I appreciate it. I think everyone else does as well. Yes, Detective Pikachu had been made before, but Sonic 1 coming out really proved to Hollywood that video game movies could actually be made repeatedly. One light criticism I do have is, and I think everybody has, is he's Sonic. He could just run to his destination. He could just end this movie in seconds if someone just gave him Google Maps.
I realized a few things. A, I have no idea where I'm going.
So I see that, I get it. And Sonic flossing, I didn't know we needed that. I don't think we did.
It sucks, man.
Honestly, this movie isn't really deeper than that. It's a really good time. It's really funny. It looks great most of the time. The CGI is really good. The jokes are funny. The actors are great. There's light criticisms here, but the difference is if you've seen Sonic 3, the movie has really cleaned those up by the time it gets to Sonic 3. It's learned from its mistakes. So looking at these mistakes here, I just know that they've learned from it and improved. So I really don't care. And that's really cool to see, a franchise that gets better as it progresses.
And the suffering.
And that's why I think Sonic 1 is really good, and I really enjoyed it. If I had to rate this movie, I'd give it an 8.6 out of 10. It's a fun time, what can I say?
Is that so difficult to believe?
Oh, I guess not.
And guess what? It's very good. I want to talk about what makes this movie so good, because this is obviously going to be the one that gets forgotten about just because it's the unlucky number 2 in the franchise.
I said forget about it, cuz.
So first off, this movie actually looks incredible. From the cinematography, to the visuals, to the visual effects, to the costumes, everything just looks really nice, and it's really all easy on the eyes. The best visuals out of all 3 movies. The last movie was difficult because of last-minute VFX changes. But this movie has really improved from the last one. And the reason I like this one the most is because it looks most accurate to the games. You have a giant CGI robot, like, from the actual games. That is a really cool robot, like Pacific Rim level. And a CGI maze, like from the games. Like him snowboarding down a hill. It looks like Sonic Olympics. It's all very Sonic. It's very cool. I feel like I'm in an actual Sonic movie. Like his obsession with chili dogs. I actually get to spend some time in some flashbacks too. The animation is astounding. All very cool stuff. And I almost wish we'd spend more time in just the animation and get rid of a lot of the actual people. But I understand.
Single warrior could defeat entire army.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Sonic has some weird lines, that's for sure.
If I die, don't look in my closet!
What did he say?
This is a kid's movie, I thought. There's just a lot of funny lines and memes in this movie that I enjoy a lot, like this.
You know, I knew a kid in middle school named Knuckles. Could fit his whole fist in his mouth. If this is the same Knuckles, we are screwed.
It's still a really funny series. It's not the funniest of the series, but it's still got some solid jokes.
Welcome to the Wade Cave, which is something I hope to someday say to a woman. A woman who's not my mom.
Yeah, some of these jokes just do not hit, like the dancing scene. When the Sonic jokes miss, they really miss.
If you don't know how to floss, you'll be lost without me.
Okay.
And when they hit, they really hit.
Like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters.
Also, what the heck, Tails?
So you've been watching me this whole time? Even in the shower?
Ah, that's a trick question. Sonic the Hedgehog prefers bubble baths.
What did he say?
That's weird. Very weird. Tails and Knuckles both do a good job. Actually the same like from the games and the TV shows and stuff, so I approve.
You think these machines are a match for me? I will shatter them like the bones from a fallen... Oh, they are stairs.
Also, is that Preston Plays?
Today we're testing illusions in Minecraft.
What in the world is he doing here?
Sorry, fellas.
I really don't like this sister and her fiance. They're really getting it on my nerves. But then Operation Catfish launches, and my whole mind is completely changed.
Operation Catfish was a complete fabrication.
Are you an agent? Son of a... What's the floor?
That's good writing. That's funny. I like that. And then, out of nowhere, Sonic goes on a whole Spider-Man tangent about great responsibility.
Because being a hero isn't about taking care of yourself. It's about taking responsibility for other people.
You serious?
Also, I watched the third Sonic before I watched this, so I didn't understand who Commander Walters was, so when he dies in the third one, sorry if that's a spoiler. Sorry, you should have seen the movie by now, honestly. But when he does, I didn't feel anything because I was like, who is this guy? Then after seeing this movie, man's a G. I love Commander Walters.
And cancel my 5 o'clock at the Olive Garden.
So now I go back and watch the third and it's like, this does hurt. Rip Commander Walters. Also, Sonic runs away in a car. I don't know what that's about, but it happens. That drift though. That is pretty cool. The stunt guy who did that guy earns my respect. James Marsden's back, and he's awesome. I love him. He's a great actor as always. I wish we would actually get to see more of him in this. He kind of gets pushed back so Tails and Knuckles can get more time, and I get that, but I always love a little bit more James Marsden. And Jim Carrey's in this. Honestly, I think this is his worst performance out of all of these.
Earth is my turf, G.
What? I was wondering why a lot of these scenes and a lot of the acting is very dry, like they're talking to a green screen, and that is simply because this was filmed during COVID. They were sitting in a room by themselves talking to a green screen.
So is that your dad?
What?
And this happened to a lot of movies during this time, so it gets a pass. If they're talking to Sonic and friends, the acting's really bad.
If you don't know how to floss, you'll be lost without me.
I understand nothing of what you just said.
But if they're talking to another human, it's actually really good.
You smell like a snack plate.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I had a couple today.
The advertisements are still obnoxious.
You're at the Four Seasons. Have a Mai Tai. Spend some time with your wife.
It sucks, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of advertisements with the cars and food and hotels. Like, we get it, guys. Chill out. I don't know a single person who watched Sonic the Hedgehog and was like, I want to go to Olive Garden now.
You really should have taken me up on that brunch, Mr. and Mrs. Wachowski.
Olive Garden guy?
It was funny in the first movie, but now I'm gonna kill somebody. Also, this is just a question from my girlfriend, but while we were watching this, she was like, does Knuckles' fists have pointy stuff in his hands? Is that in his hands, or is that just from his gloves? Solid question. So, internet, if you know, let me know. I could like look it up or something, or I could just like ask you guys. Thanks. I think that's everything. This movie all around is a solid movie. It's not bad. It's not great though. I enjoy the other Sonic movies a lot more. They have a lot more charm to them. I would say this movie is just the most fun. It's not taking itself seriously. I feel like I'm playing an actual Sonic game and it feels more true to the franchise itself, but it doesn't have really anything underlying to it. It doesn't go any deeper than that. Most of the Sonic movies are great at catering to all audiences. This one just really caters to kids, like super young kids. And that's great and all, but like, we all love movies that cater to every audience and has jokes for everybody. Probably could have taken a little bit extra time to figure these things out, as we'd seen from the first Sonic and even the third. In my personal opinion, it's probably the weakest in all the franchise.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
It's not bad, but I personally enjoy Sonic 3 a lot more if you guys haven't seen that. If I had to rate this movie, I'd give it an 8.3 out of 10. It's a good movie, and I would definitely watch it again, but I would definitely watch number 3 or number 1 before I got to this one. And if you haven't seen it, it's a great watch. Please go watch it.
I wouldn't come any closer because this little
Hedgehog had way too many chili dogs. Oh no. I'm so embarrassed. Get out of here.
And you know what? It's not half bad. I really enjoyed it. And I could kind of sniff that this movie was going to be alright from the trailers and all, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. The entire time, the CGI is actually doing really well. The visuals are stunning and compelling. I enjoyed them thoroughly. I did not expect to see this from a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And why would I say that? Well, because only a short couple years ago, we had the whole Sonic fiasco where they screwed the CGI so horribly, so infamously.
Meow?
And here we are, having maybe the best CGI this year from a movie. So easy on the eyes. The intro has a great fight scene between Shadow and Sonic, and it is so easy to look at. I really enjoy the work they put into making the CGI look as character accurate as possible, while also giving it that real world touch. The acting, it's pretty cheesy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's pretty dang cheesy. I think down to its core, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies are kids' movies. The dialogue's simple so kids can understand it. And that's fine. It gets a pass. The reason it gets such a pass is because some of these actors are very phenomenal actors, like James Marsden and Jim Carrey and Idris Elba. We know they can act.
Just a dog.
Seeing their lines come out goofy, it's whatever, we get it. We know they can act, and they all do a phenomenal job. You can tell from watching their acting, they're having a fun time, and that makes you have a fun time. That's what gives this movie so much charm. One thought that did cross my mind is this has basically become the Fast and Furious franchise, but for kids. You got people going fast and furious, lots of CGI, going all around the world with new characters, bald characters, and even this one features reggaeton. Who knew? But wait, this is actually kind of enjoyable though. Some of the Fast and Furious movies can be absolute brain rot and give you brain damage.
I'm Dante. Enchanté.
But this, as silly as it may be, is enjoyable most of the time, and you don't feel like you're losing brain cells the entire time. When you watch a Fast and Furious movie, you know not to take it seriously. And I think if you go into the mindset of watching Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with this, you're going to have a wonderful time. I was thinking about it, and not only is it one of the best movies of the year, but it is the best Sonic the Hedgehog movie, easily. And I think, as well, it's the best Jim Carrey movie. I didn't see that one coming. I enjoy his work better in some other movies. I did not think Sonic 3 would be his standout though. He's killing it in every department. So if you're a really big Jim Carrey fan, please go see this movie. You will be greatly blessed by his presence. Unless you don't like Jim Carrey. You're gonna have a miserable time in this movie if you do not like Jim Carrey. At the end, they have a battle with different gravity platforms that make you lose gravity or gain gravity. And like, I didn't know I needed that. They had a lot of cool new ideas here that I didn't know I needed. It's nice to see fresh ideas in Hollywood. Now, one great reason to go see this movie is solely for Keanu Reeves. And I'm not gonna lie, he's probably the number one reason my butt was in that theater. I love him in John Wick, and you know what? He literally just plays John Wick in this, and he steals the show as Shadow the Hedgehog. He is Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, I don't think he can be replaced now. And his line delivery was so good, it was like almost emotional. I was like, why is this good? I don't understand where this is coming from. Something I thought was funny is like, just from the first couple of seconds, Shadow shows up and Knuckles goes to fight him, and he just like automatically loses. And it's like, you know, when you unlock a new guy in a video game and he's just useless. That's kind of what Knuckles turned into. The whole movie is just funny, and it's stupid funny, and it realizes that it's kind of stupid and kind of for kids, and it leans into that, and you're having a great time. There are some jokes here that go so hard. They go into James Marsden has his own puppet, and you're just like, where is this coming from? Why is this a thing? They just kind of lean into the fact that this is kind of dumb. They have a whole conversation about guacamole, and you're like, why is this? Why am I laughing at this? I don't get this. It is so stupid. It is funny. If you will let yourself be goofy for a second, you will have a good time. Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey literally says in this that he is an actor. It is hilarious. Jim Carrey references trauma dumping and entered the chat. It feels like they sat in a back room and were just like, what type of joke should we make? And Jim Carrey was like, all of them. Every joke they could possibly think of, they threw it in here, whether it was good or not. And I think that gives this movie a lot of charm. And then it goes on this whole subplot about his assistant just really wanting to be his friend, and you spend so much time with it, and you're just like, this is weird, this is kind of making me uncomfy. But they did a great job with that as well, and by the end you really relate to the assistant and their relationship, and you're like, this is good. But I'd have to say the whole movie feels very outlandish. That's the word that comes to mind with a lot of these jokes. I think at its core, Sonic the Hedgehog is a comedy movie. This is probably the funniest movie of the year, easily. Well, not easily. Deadpool and Wolverine is a close one, but I felt like they tried too hard in that movie, and this one really wasn't trying at all. They were just having a good time, and I think it beat it. A lot of movies with sequels and trilogies, one thing they really suffer from is not knowing what to do with the characters, like the side characters. And I thought this movie did a really good job at being able to add characters and find things for the ones who were already there to do. I thought surely it couldn't find anything for Knuckles or Tails to do because Sonic is so busy with Shadow, but it did a good job at finding things for them to do. Maybe not as much as I would like. I'd like to see more Knuckles and more Tails and more James Marsden. Even Wade shows up in this for like a second, but I didn't tell you that. Man's great. They have an entire dance song to Galvanize by the Chemical Brothers. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And the entire time I was thinking, you know what? If I was a kid, I would be having a blast right now. I'm having a blast as an adult right now, but I'd be having a crazy awesome time if I was a kid. They cater to all audiences. They remember throughout the movie that their core audience is kids. The kids are the ones who've built up their brand, and they remember to cater them. And it's very nice to see that. And then they do leave jokes for everybody else to kind of laugh at. At the end, they have a little cool mid-credit scene, adding some extra characters, adding some more stuff for all those DeviantArt mods, huh? Yeah, I know what you guys are excited for.
Miles of the most dangerous and creepy fan art zones imaginable.
And I would have to say that's about it. If I had to rate this out of 10, I would actually give this an 8.5. It's not the most perfect movie, but it is a great time, and I would definitely watch it again, easily. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like and subscribe to the video, and maybe we'll get some more Sonic content out there. We'll see. Anyway, till next week, thank you guys so much, and bye.
What is it? Fresh Wade jams? Another Julia Roberts classic? An enormous cauldron of Wendy Matt's bowl of soup?